The signal arrived without fire, without warning, and without fear. It appeared first as a thin line of sound inside a deep space listening station in Chile. At first, the computers marked it as noise. Space was full of noise. Radiation bursts, dying stars, drifting particles. But this signal did not behave like noise. It repeated. It paused. It waited. Dr. Alan Moore noticed it during a late shift. He leaned closer to the screen, his tired eyes narrowing. The pattern was slow and careful, as if whoever sent it did not want to rush. He ran the data again, then again, feeling his heartbeat grow louder in his chest. Within hours, observatories across the world confirmed the same signal. It was coming from far beyond known space routes. Too far to be an accident. Governments were alerted. Scientists stopped sleeping. News stayed quiet at first, hidden behind secure channels and closed doors. No one wanted panic. The signal was decoded piece by piece. It was not a language, not at first. It was math. Simple math. Prime numbers. Ratios. Universal truths. A way to say we think, therefore we exist. Then came images. Star maps. Chemical structures. And finally, a message so clear that silence filled every room where it was read. We see you. We wish to speak. We come in peace. There were no weapons shown. No threats. No demands. Only an invitation. Still, fear spread behind calm faces. Humanity had spent centuries imagining this moment. Some had dreamed of friendship. Others had warned of destruction. History taught humans to be careful. Every unknown power had once brought pain. World leaders met in emergency sessions. Screens connected capitals across the planet. Some argued to stay silent. Some argued to prepare defenses. A few demanded the signal be ignored completely. What if it's a trap? One leader asked. What if answering is a mistake? Another said. The debate lasted days. Meanwhile, the signal waited. It did not repeat faster. It did not change tone. It simply remained steady and patient. Public knowledge could not be delayed forever. When the news broke, the world stopped. People gathered around screens in homes, shops, and streets. Some prayed. Some celebrated. Some cried. The idea that humanity was no longer alone felt heavy and bright at the same time. Protests and festivals happened in the same cities. Fear and hope walked side by side. In the middle of it all, scientists continued working. They studied every detail of the message. The structure showed restraint. The timing suggested caution. Whoever sent it had watched Earth long enough to know humans were nervous. They're being polite, Dr. Moore said during one briefing. They're letting us choose. That sentence changed everything. Humanity had a choice. After long debate, a rare agreement formed. Not from one nation, not from one power, but from many. The response would not belong to a single country. It would belong to Earth. A global council was formed, made of scientists, linguists, engineers, and cultural experts. Their task was simple and impossible at the same time. Decide what to say on behalf of 8 billion people. Words were tested and rejected. Images were argued over. Music was suggested and removed. Every idea felt too small. Then someone asked a different question. Who should speak? Not a general. Not a politician. Not a symbol of power. They needed someone calm. Someone clear. Someone human. That was how Mark Ellis was chosen. Mark was not famous. He had never wanted to be. He worked as a communications specialist, trained to speak during disasters and international crises. His job was to keep people listening when emotions ran high. He had a steady voice. Not loud, not soft. Just steady. When he was told about the decision, he sat in silence for a long time. I don't represent humanity, he said quietly. You do, the council replied. Not as a ruler. As a voice. Mark thought about wars, mistakes, kindness, and courage. He thought about how humans were broken and stubborn and still trying. I'll do it, he said. But we speak honestly. The response was prepared with care. It did not hide fear. It did not show weakness either. It spoke of Earth's long history, of learning through failure, of reaching for the stars not to conquer, but to understand. When the message was sent, the world held its breath. Minutes passed. Then hours. Finally, the signal changed. A new pattern appeared. Faster now. Warmer. Acknowledgement received. We will come closer. We will not cross your space without consent. The meaning was clear. The next step was near. For the first time in history, humanity had answered the unknown not with silence or violence, but with unity. Somewhere beyond the stars, something had heard them. And history had begun to move. The alien fleet arrived without fire or sound. One moment, Earth's skies were empty except for stars. The next, shapes appeared in orbit, huge, dark, and impossible to miss. They did not block the sun, but they bent the light around them. Dozens of ships formed slow lines above the planet, moving with perfect control. People all over Earth looked up. Satellites captured the images first. Then telescopes. Then every screen on the planet. There was no hiding it now. The visitors had come. Many had expected fear to rule the world. Some alien records had predicted panic, chaos, and surrender. That was how weaker worlds reacted. That was how most species reacted. But Earth did not burn. Sirens did not scream endlessly. Cities did not fall apart. Flights were grounded. Military stood down, not forward. Power grids remained stable. Hospitals stayed open. People checked on neighbors. Parents held children and explained calmly that something new was happening. The aliens watched. Their ships scanned the planet carefully. They searched for signs of collapse. Instead, they found order. World leaders appeared together on shared broadcasts. No threats were made. No single nation spoke alone. The message was short and clear. Earth acknowledged their arrival. Earth requested peaceful communication. Earth was ready to listen. This response caused confusion among the alien commanders. They had expected demands. Or silence. Or fear. Instead, they saw cooperation. Inside the largest alien vessel, observers studied live feeds from Earth. They saw traffic slow, not stop. They saw emergency teams on standby, not attacking. They saw scientists and engineers working side by side across borders. This species is unusually calm, one alien officer noted. They should be afraid, another replied. They are, the first answered. But they are controlled. After several hours, a single alien craft moved forward. It did not enter the atmosphere. It stopped at a safe distance and sent a signal request. The connection was opened. Mark Ellis was there, but this time he did not speak alone. Beside him stood Dr. Emily Carter. Emily was a historian and survival systems expert. She had spent her life studying how humans endured disasters, plagues, wars, climate shifts, and near-extinction events. She was chosen because she understood one truth clearly. Humans were not strong because life was easy. Humans were strong because it was not. The screen came alive with the image of the alien representative. Its form was tall and layered, its features smooth and unfamiliar. Its voice was translated into simple sound. You did not resist, the alien said. You did not submit. Explain. Emily stepped forward. Her hands were steady. We learned a long time ago, she said, that fear makes things worse. The alien tilted its head slightly. Most species react with force. Emily nodded. We did too. For a long time. It nearly ended us. She began to speak of Earth's past. Not in detail, not with pride, but with honesty. She spoke of early wars, of mistakes made again and again. She spoke of learning slowly, painfully, that survival required change. We adapted, she said. Not because we wanted to be better. Because we had to. Images were shared, floods, rebuilding, cities rising again after destruction. Medical breakthroughs born from crisis. Cooperation formed after loss. The aliens watched in silence. Emily continued. We are not united because we are perfect. We are united because we understand what happens if we are not. The alien representative processed this. You expect conflict from us, it said. Yes, Emily replied. But we hope for understanding. A pause followed. Long enough for hearts across Earth to race. Then the alien spoke again. Your species has survived conditions that ended others. Yes, Emily said simply. And you did not become passive. No, she said. We became careful. The alien fleet adjusted formation slightly. It was not a threat. It was a sign of internal communication. Among the alien commanders, opinions began to change. This world was not begging. It was not posturing. It was standing still, balanced between fear and resolve. This is not weakness, one commander admitted. This is discipline, another replied. The alien representative turned back to the screen. We expected submission, it said. Instead, you offer dialogue. Because dialogue keeps people alive, Emily answered. The words were simple, but they carried weight. After the exchange ended, the alien craft pulled back slightly. The fleet remained, but its posture changed. Weapons stayed inactive. Scanners softened. Across Earth, people exhaled. No cities were destroyed. No shots were fired. Humanity had faced the unknown and remained itself. The aliens had come expecting to meet a frightened species. Instead, they found one that had learned how to stand together when the universe finally noticed them. The test was announced without warning but not without reason. The alien fleet sent a message that was calm and clear. It explained that no weapons would be used, no cities would be harmed, no lives would be taken. Still, it was a challenge. "We must understand how you respond under pressure," the alien message said. "Not with force but with thought." A structure appeared in space soon after. It was massive, floating between Earth and the fleet. It looked like a broken ring made of dark metal and glowing lines. Inside it was a problem, not a trap. The aliens explained the rules. The structure would slowly destabilize Earth's upper communication grid. Not enough to cause harm but enough to create growing failures. Satellites would drift. Signals would break. Navigation would weaken. Humanity had limited time to stabilize the structure by interacting with it. No weapons. No attacks. Only understanding and coordination. If humans failed, the aliens would withdraw and mark Earth as unstable. If humans succeeded, contact would continue. Panic tried to rise, but it did not win. Within minutes, teams formed across the planet. Engineers, pilots, scientists, and programmers were connected through secure global networks. Old rivalries were ignored. Old borders became lines on maps again, not walls. Daniel Brooks sat in a control room in Canada, staring at streams of alien data. He was an engineer who specialized in complex systems. The alien structure did not follow human logic, but it followed rules. Daniel could feel it. "This thing wants balance," he said to the team. "Not control. Balance." Across the ocean, Anna Reed prepared her spacecraft. She was a test pilot trained for extreme conditions. Her role was simple and terrifying. Human ships would need to fly close to the alien structure to place signal anchors. One mistake could send her drifting into nothing. She did not hesitate. "If this is about trust," she said over the channel, "then someone has to go first." As the hours passed, Earth systems began to flicker. GPS signals weakened. Weather satellites showed gaps. Cargo ships slowed in the oceans. Still, no one fired a weapon. No one blamed another nation. The aliens watched. They expected arguments. They expected delays. They expected humans to try to overpower the structure or demand instructions. Instead, they saw questions being asked. What does it respond to? Where does energy flow? Who can support who? Daniel worked with teams in India, Germany, and Brazil. They compared notes, failed models, and small successes. Every failure was shared openly, not hidden. "The pattern repeats every 11 minutes, Daniel said at one point. "It's not random." Anna's ship moved carefully toward the structure. The closer she got, the more her instruments struggled. Alien energy bent her readings, but she trusted her training. "Anchor 1 placed," she said calmly, even as her hands shook. Another pilot followed. Then another. Different nations. Different languages. Same goal. The alien structure reacted. Its glow shifted. Pressure on Earth's systems slowed. "This is working," someone said. But the test was not finished. The structure changed again, introducing a new variable. Energy surged unevenly, threatening to overload one side of Earth's orbit. The room went quiet. Daniel spoke slowly. "It's testing whether we protect ourselves first, or each other." The surge threatened regions unevenly. Some nations were at greater risk of losing systems than others. The easy choice would be to stabilize only local areas. Instead, the teams made a different decision. They rerouted resources to the weakest points first. Anna adjusted her course without being asked. "I'm closer to the surge zone. I'll hold position." Her ship shook. Alarms rang. She stayed. Other pilots followed. Engineers recalculated in real time. No one asked who would get credit. The structure stabilized. Minutes passed. Then silence. The alien fleet sent a final message. Test complete. Across Earth, systems returned to normal. Satellites locked back into place. Signals cleared. The sky felt quiet again. In the alien command vessels, something rare happened. Reevaluation. "They did not compete," one commander said. "They cooperated under strain. They chose collective survival over individual safety," another noted. "This species does not rely on force," a third said. "They rely on trust." Daniel leaned back in his chair, exhausted. He did not cheer. He simply smiled. Anna landed hours later, her ship marked with burns. When asked how she felt, she shrugged. "We all held the line," she said. That's what mattered. Humanity had passed the test. Not by proving strength, but by proving they could stand together when it mattered most. The alien fleet did not move away after the test. Instead, the ships adjusted their positions into a wide circle around Earth. The formation was open, not closed. It was a sign, though humans did not yet know what it meant. Inside the alien command vessels, silence filled the halls. The test results were still processing, but the meaning was already clear. Earth had not reacted as predicted. The models used for centuries did not fit this species. One alien commander finally spoke. "We were wrong." The words carried weight. Among the alien civilizations, such an admission was rare. Most species believed first impressions were truth. Earth had challenged that belief. They reviewed the recordings again. Engineers sharing failures openly. Pilots risking themselves for strangers they would never meet. Resources sent to the weakest regions first, not the strongest. This was not strategy alone, one commander said. This was choice. Another replied, they value the whole over the self. The fleet sent a new message request. On Earth, the signal was received in the same quiet rooms where the first response had been sent. Mark Ellis stood ready, but this time the tone was different. There was no tension in the air. Only attention. The alien representative appeared on the screen. "We misjudged you," it said plainly. No threat followed. No condition. Just truth. "You expected fear," Mark replied carefully. "Yes," the alien answered. "Or submission. Or violence. These are common." "And now?" Mark asked. "Now we see resilience," the alien said. "Not born from strength alone, but from adaptation." Dr. Emily Carter was present again. She listened closely. "You have survived repeated collapse," the alien continued. "You rebuild without losing identity. This is unusual." Emily nodded. "We don't forget pain," she said. "We learn from it." The alien paused, then spoke again. "Your creativity during the trial exceeded projections. You solved problems without direct instruction." "We've had practice," Emily said gently. The exchange was recorded from both sides. Not as evidence, not as warning, but as history. Within the alien fleet, the decision was made to share the encounter. Across distant systems, the recordings were transmitted. Worlds that had never considered Earth now watched closely. Alien scholars observed human behavior. They noted emotional signals mixed with logic. Fear managed, not erased. Empathy used as a tool, not a weakness. "This species does not hide its flaws," one observer noted. "They work with them." Others were surprised by how humans communicated. No single leader dominated. No voice claimed superiority. Credit was shared. Responsibility was shared. "This is not a conquest culture," another said. "This is a survival culture." As the recordings spread, discussions began across the galaxy. Some civilizations had avoided Earth, believing it unstable. Others had dismissed it as primitive. Those opinions changed. Back on Earth, people did not see the wider reaction yet. They only knew that the alien fleet remained calm, that no weapons were active, that the tone had shifted. The alien representative spoke once more. "You are not weak," it said. "You are untested in the wider galaxy, but not unprepared." The words echoed across Earth's networks. Humanity listened. "We will not observe you as subjects," the alien continued. "We will observe you as peers." That sentence carried more meaning than any treaty. The encounter was officially marked by the alien fleet as a turning point. Not because Earth had proven dominance, but because it had proven balance. Resilience. Creativity. Empathy. Traits many alien cultures had lost over time. As the fleet prepared its next action, no one spoke of control or guidance. Only a future dialogue. Humanity had not been lifted by the stars. It had risen to meet them. And for the first time, the galaxy did not look at Earth with pity. It looked with respect. The message that followed did not feel heavy. It felt open. The alien fleet sent a final transmission to Earth, not as a warning, not as a test, but as an offer. The words were clear and carefully chosen. Earth is recognized as an equal participant. Across the planet, the message spread faster than any news before it. People read it twice, then again, afraid to believe it. Equal. Not protected. Not guided. Not controlled. Equal. The alien ships shifted formation once more. This time they moved closer, not in threat but in welcome. One vessel lowered itself into a stable orbit designed for communication and exchange. It was not a command ship. It was a meeting place. Mark Ellis watched the live feed in silence. He remembered the first signal, thin and quiet, and how small humanity had felt then. Now the same stars looked different. Not closer but reachable. "This is how it starts," he said softly. Dr. Emily Carter stood beside him. "This is how it continues," she replied. The aliens explained what the recognition meant. Earth would not be rushed into galactic systems. There would be no sudden technology transfer, no forced changes. Humanity would move at its own pace, learning, sharing, deciding. "We do not build allies through control," the alien representative said. "We build them through trust." That idea alone changed everything. Soon after, records of the encounter were released across the galaxy. Other civilizations watched the footage of Earth's response, the test, the choices made under pressure. They saw no conquest, no demand for advantage. They saw cooperation. Among the stars, Earth gained a reputation. Not as the strongest world. Not as the most advanced. But as the one that answered the unknown with unity. Some alien cultures were curious. Some were cautious. A few were inspired. Trade paths were discussed. Knowledge exchanges were planned. Cultural signals were prepared, not just data but art, music, and stories. Humanity was invited to share not what it owned but who it was. Back on Earth, the changes were quiet at first. There were no parades in space. No sudden golden age. People still worked. Still argued. Still struggled. But something had shifted beneath it all. Borders mattered less in certain rooms. Global projects became easier to start. When leaders spoke, they spoke knowing they were now seen not just by their people but by the stars. Children looked up at the night sky with new thoughts. The universe was no longer empty. And humanity was no longer unknown. Years later, historians would argue over the exact moment humanity changed. Some would point to the first signal. Others to the test. Others to the alien words of recognition. But most agreed on one truth. Humanity did not step forward alone. Engineers like Daniel Brooks returned to their work, now part of larger networks that included alien thinkers. He often smiled at how familiar the problems still felt. Systems were systems no matter where they came from. Pilots like Anna Reid trained new crews, teaching them how to fly near the unknown without panic. She told them that courage was not the absence of fear, but the decision to act with others in mind. Mark Ellis stepped away from the spotlight. His role was done. He returned to training new communicators, people who understood that words could shape history. Dr. Emily Carter wrote her final report on the encounter. She ended it with a simple sentence. Humanity survived long enough to be ready. The alien fleet did not stay forever. One by one, the ships departed, leaving behind listening posts and open channels. They promised to return not as judges but as neighbors. When the last ship vanished into deep space, Earth did not feel alone again. It felt connected. The story of first contact spread across the galaxy. Not as a tale of fear but as an example. Other species studied it. Some questioned their own ways. Some began to change. Humanity became known for one defining trait. When faced with the unknown, they reached out together. History recorded the moment carefully. Not in bold letters of conquest, but in quiet lines of meaning. This was the day humans stepped forward. Not as rulers of the stars. Not as victims of them. But as a people who chose cooperation over collapse. Together.